One night, Gant was talking about his family and said his wife would be worried if he didn't call. He stresses the importance of family and the importance of always supporting each other. When Gant approaches his associate Sarah Jean, she is found dead. Gant, with cuts all over her body and her fingernails torn off, tells Sarah Jean that her father will kill him if he does this, so a man is nothing without a family. One day, as Summer was walking down the street, Cliff stopped and took her. When Cliff asks where he's going, Summer says he's going to a town called Massey. Cliff offers to drive her to town, unzips her pants and asks Summer to look after her. However, Summer took out her gun and told her members to continue her drive while pointing the gun. When she arrives in Massey, Summer steals her store at a gas station. However, she is noticed by the sheriff coming out of her bathroom. He is soon confronted by Summer, who runs and knocks over a ledge in an attempt to distract him. Outside, Tom finds Summer hiding behind a dumpster, but she tells the sheriff she has gone the other way. He then tells Summer to get in her car before the sheriff returns. Although she was apprehensive at first, she followed his suggestion. After stopping at a vacant lot, Tom explains that he didn't like the sheriff because he helped him because he was caught driving under the influence. Afterwards, they have a drink at a bar, where Tom asks how Summer came to town. However, Summer changes the subject and asks if there is a place for old people to hang out, but Tom says there is no such place. Later, Summer asks about her cheap motel, but Tom persuades her to stay at her own house. Outside, they meet Jesse, the town mechanic. She asks how many times Summer has slept with Jesse, but Tom says Jesse is not his type. At Tom's house, Summer notices a latch on the window and Tom says his mother is worried about his safety. When Summer teases him about living with her mother, Tom confesses that he tried to leave home but missed her mother's cooking skills. Their goofy joke soon turns into an affair, and the two end up sleeping together in Tom's bedroom as they hear Tom's mother, Gaia, listening through the door. The next morning, Summer tries to sneak out, but Tom catches her before she can leave. Tom says he won't go, so Summer gets her gun. As Summer tells him to stand aside, Tom raises his hand in surrender. While Summer is busy hanging out with Tom, Gaia knocks her out. Tom complains that he was just messing with Summer, and she reveals to Gaia that she took her bullets out of her gun. Meanwhile, Darwin returns home and calls for her daughter Ember, but she is nowhere to be seen. Instead, he found his favorite bird dead and covered with leftover food and mold. Summer soon awoke to find herself strapped to a bed of dirt. When the lights come on, she finds Amber chained to her chair and that she has been beaten and injured. When Tom shows up, Summer begins yelling and swearing at him. Tom tells Amber to calm down because he's pissing her off. When Summer asks Amber how long she's been there, Tom only tells her she's been there since the death of a woman named Clarissa. Tom shows Clarissa's skull. Summer yells that she will never kill Clarissa, but Tom defends himself that he did not kill Clarissa and that he would never kill her because she would never hurt a woman. Instead, Clarissa died after being bitten by a spider. When Summer refuses to believe her, Tom hugs her and insists she didn't kill Clarissa. The next day, while at Gaia's workshop, Tom notices Darwin outside. Gaia panics as soon as she learns Darwin will claim Amber, but Tom doesn't mind since Amber has been known to run away. Back in her Tom's garden, Summer pleads for her release, but Tom insists he needs her for her garden. Summer gets nowhere and only confesses that she is looking for her father in Massey, but Tom teases that her father was with them. Summer, puzzled, watches as Tom opens a large trash can and blows the stench away. Only the garden hose slides off when Tom dumps the contents of the trash can. Summer is very relieved, but Tom jokes that he doesn't know Summer's father. Next, Tom offers the Summer mashed potatoes his mother made. After Summer abused her mother, Tom force-fed her and threatened to cut out her tongue. Summer confesses that she would rather starve. Meanwhile, at the bar, Darwin asks about Amber. The bartender said that Amber hadn't been to the bar for a long time, but was always hanging out with strangers back then. The next day, Gaia tells Tom to kick the women out, and she scolds him for taking Amber, who lives in her town. Tom bangs on the counter and insists he can't let go of the garden. Later, Tom helps Summer get some water and tells her that she will be away from home for a few hours on her job. He then puts on her music for her, making her crazy Amber laugh. While the sheriff is eating, Darwin asks about Amber. When Darwin says Amber's car and wallet are missing, the sheriff is convinced Amber just ran away. However, Darwin still urged the sheriff to check to see if Amber was missing. The sheriff declined to investigate Amber as soon as she finished eating. Meanwhile, Summer speaks to Amber, where she asks if she wants to die, but Amber can't seem to speak anymore. While picking up supplies at Jesse's house, Tom receives a call from Darwin asking if the oven isn't working and he wants it checked. Tom pretended to be calm, he said he would definitely go there. When Tom returns, Summer asks how long her garden has been. Tom says he has been growing plants since he was a child because his father would often lock him there when he was depressed. Summer says she thinks her garden is beautiful even without her or Ember, but Tom disagrees with this, saying that she thinks women are the most beautiful, so she insists that a woman be in her garden. She says. Tom asks about Summer's mother, but she says they didn't get along. Summer said she found a letter from her father that she lied to Twila that her mother had died of her miscarriage. Therefore, her father doesn't even know Natsu exists. That was when Summer left her house. When Tom stresses that her family is the most important thing, Summer points out that she has distanced him from her father as much as she did her mother. Tom asks for Summer's father's name, which she does not know. Instead, she has a photo of him, which she hopes to use to find him. Summer tries to manipulate Tom, implying that she might be the special person he lets go, but he just walks away. The sheriff then buys something from Gaia's shop and begins flirting with her. He says her husband is long dead. However, she refuses his invitation. Gaia feigns innocence when the sheriff mentions his concerns about Darwin and Amber. At home, Gaia worries about drinking and fears getting into trouble. But Tom doesn't mind, he says he will make it clear that he will come to Darwin's house to fix the stove. Gaia then slapped Tom and told him to kick the girls out. An angry Tom pushes Gaia onto the table and tells her to behave. Gaia promises to be good even when defeated. Despite being his mother and son, they end up snorting before Tom leaves Gaia on the table and cries. While fixing Darwin's stove, Tom tells Darwin he hasn't seen Amber in months. Tom then claims that Amber said she wanted to see the band, so he guesses she went there. Back in the garden, Summer tries to communicate with Amber again. In turn, Amber regains consciousness and mentions her father. Summer promises to return them to her father and she asks Amber to retrieve her tools from her shelf. Her legs are bound, but Amber takes a few steps and tries to grab one of her tools. However, she trips and hits her head on a concrete block. Summer cries out in frustration. Back home, Tom angrily takes Amber's body and blames Summer for her death. As Tom buries Amber, Gaia expresses her dislike of Summer. Summer begs her to free herself so she can get out of her own life, but Gaia points out that Tom needs her own garden. After burying Amber's body, Tom cries out in grief. He then goes to her bedroom and goes through Summer's belongings and smells her clothes. He then finds her diary and releases Summer from her earth bed after reading it. Tom then cleans them up and puts them to sleep in his own bed. When Tom goes to check on him the next day, Summer sneaks past him, putting her pillow under her blanket as a decoy. However, Tom soon catches her and binds her to her earth bed with her chains. He told her that she must trust each other because Summer is his. That night, Gaia scolds Tom for thinking about Summer. Tom ignores her and gives her a letter from Summers, telling her to read it to Gaia. She then goes downstairs with Tom to see Summer's face before leaving. Summer then said she could do the housework and that there was a place for her in her house. Meanwhile, Darwin slips a note into Jesse's store asking him to call about Amber. Back in the basement, Tom says he's never let a prisoner out of the basement. Summer has a few ground rules, like being upstairs only when she's around and being chained up when she's outside. They then let Summer join her for dinner, and Gaia told her to think of them as her family. She begins to take an interest in Summer's mother until she is reprimanded by Tom. After dinner, Tom and Summer sleep together again. Meanwhile, Tom forces Summer to say I love you. Meanwhile, Gaia receives a call from Gant. She had so many things to talk about that she cried and asked where he was. Gaia then barges into Tom's bedroom and tells him that Gant will be back tomorrow. When Tom asks Gaia if she told Gant anything, Gaia claims that Gant has no secrets. That night, when Summer asks about Tom's father, Tom says he'll do whatever Gant wants. A worried Summer asks Tom to protect her so they can start a family of their own. Even though she told Summer that he loved Tom, Tom shoved her and left her in her basement with her legs tied to a pole. When Tom visits Jessie the next day, she mentions a note Darwin left behind. Since Tom was the last person to see Amber, Jessie tells Darwin to speak to Tom instead of her. When Tom asked why Jessie thought he was the last to see Amber, she said Jessie saw her in Tom's truck before Amber left. However, Tom claims he didn't see Amber that night. Jessie remembers the night perfectly, but Tom just forgot, he admitted. Tom tells Jessie not to call Darwin and says he will go fix Darwin's stove anyway. Upon walking away, Tom starts teasing Jessie, angry that she caught him. In the basement, Gaia tells Summer how she met Tom's father and how the two formed an instant bond. She then asks Summer how Twillo met Summer's father, but Summer doesn't know and says she is looking for him to find out who she is. Later that night, Tom ambushes Jessie as she closes her shop. During the fight, Jessie grabs Tom and spills her business card out of her breast pocket. When Jessie passes out, Tom ties her up in her basement. When Summer insists on letting Jessie go, Tom angrily explains that there is another reason Jessie is there. Meanwhile, Jessie sneaks out a knife hidden in his boot and stabs Tom in the leg. After being released, Jessie tells Summer to go back. But when Summer turns her back, she trips Jessie with her own bond. The next day, Gaia leaves Summer to clean up, and she heads to the market with Tom watching at gunpoint. When Jessie begins to make a fuss in her basement, Tom tells Summer to calm down, and she says Jessie will be even more miserable when Gant arrives. Summer realizes that Tom took Jessie away so that Gant would not focus on her. Meanwhile, Darwin is looking for Jessie and finds Tom's business card outside her shop. In the basement, Summer tries to get Jessie to drink water and advises her to calm down. But Jessie keeps yelling at her, so Summer just walks away. Relaxing on her patio, Tom asks Summer if she intends to start a family of her own, and Summer admits. Satisfied, Tom intends to look around when his leg is healed. Suddenly Darwin arrives and Summer sees an opportunity and kicks Tom's injured leg and runs to Darwin's car. Summer desperately pleads with Darwin to let him in the car so he can escape, but Darwin gets out of the car and is still looking for Ember. Darwin drives off with Summer as Tom is about to get his sniper rifle. Tom quickly shoots Darwin in the head, and Summer gets out of the car and runs away. However, Tom shot her near her feet, which stopped her just as Gaia was coming back. That night, Gant arrives and greets Gaia with a kiss. However, upon touching her girlfriend, Gant noticed that Gaia had gained weight and she stepped back. Inside, Gant ordered Tom to stand up to greet him. Gant wants to see Summer soon, but she complains that Gaia can wait. Instead, she showed him a photo from Summer's diary, one of Gant and Twila. Below, Gant greets Summer, tells her that her mother caught her eye and told her about her miscarriage, and she reveals that she is Summer's father. Gant is touched that Summer went looking for her, and she tells him that she is now with her family. He goes upstairs with Summer to find a knife and invites her to have some fun with her Jessie. When Tom tells Gant to get Summer out of there, Gant kicks him in the leg and reprimands him for wanting her sister. Back in the basement, Gant shows Summer harassing Jessie by cutting off the straps of his top. Gant angers Jessie and she verbally taunts him. After all, he stabbed her multiple times. Gaia worries that Tom isn't happy after he takes Summer to clean. Gant objects that Summer was looking for him and she belongs to him. Unbeknownst to them, Summer promises to take them. The next day, Gant was enjoying a meal with her family, even though she was happy alone. Gant asks about Summer's mother, but her mother lies that Twila died in a car accident. Suddenly the sheriff arrives and Gaia offers to look after him. Meanwhile, Tom tells Summer to keep her quiet and protect her. A sheriff at the door reports that the car is on fire and everything is charred. There was no sign, but I knew it was Darwin's. Also, since Darwin is missing, the sheriff mentions that Darwin said Tom was Amber's friend. He asks if he has met Darwin, but Gaia says no. The sheriff notices Gant's return and quietly asks Gaia if she should tell him anything, but Gaia still replies no. After the sheriff leaves, Gaia scolds Tom for setting the car on fire, but Tom defends the car as bloody. When Gaia says everyone knows Darwin was spying on Amber, Gant accuses her of sleeping with the sheriff. However, Gaia denies such actions. Gant ignores her girlfriend and tells her Summer to pack her things because she's going to take her, adding that Tom should help her pack. As Tom does not move, Gant kicks his leg again, but Tom insists that Summer is with him. Gant gets up angrily and says he must kill Tom if he disobeys him, so Tom says he will kill him. Gant points the knife at him, but Tom doesn't reach it. Gant calls him a coward and drags Tom out of the kitchen. Gant blames Gaia for Tom's actions and speculates that Gaia also slept with Tom. Gaia denied the allegations and blamed Summer instead. Just then, Tom returns and points a shotgun at Gant, who provokes him into shooting. When Tom hesitates, Gant picks up a shotgun and shoots Tom without hesitation. Gaia mourns Tom's death and accuses Gant of getting angry when he told Summer about herself. She suspects that he wants Summer to be his own and has come to her house to kill her in order to build her new family. Gant says he could have done it and shoots Gaia. Summer, frozen in place, has no choice but to obey when Gant tells her to pack her things. On her way, Gant stops at a picnic area to eat, but Summer tells her that her daughters like to be thin, so they don't have to eat anything if they don't want to. Gant gets out of the car and approaches the woman to ask for directions. While her Gant is busy, Summer ambushes her and she stabs Gant multiple times in front of the poor woman. Before she leaves, she tells her frightened woman that Gant will eventually kill her. End. Conclusion: Summer takes matters into her own hands and exacts a brutal revenge on Gant, the man who claimed to be her father and brought chaos to her life. The cycle of violence and manipulation ends with Summer's act of vengeance, leaving a trail of death and despair behind. Please comment on this recap.